So yesterday in Chovos Halevavos is duties of the heart. We transition to the 6th chapter of Shar Habchina, and we're going to wrap it up today and Be'ezrat Hashem start a new chapter. And the next chapter is going to be good work for us. It will be good. So the Shar Bchina taught us that you have to search, investigate from the world around us to discover the wisdom of Hashem. And that discovery should lead you to action, to work on your belief in Hashem, love of Hashem, fear of Hashem, and so on. And we went through all of the different things that we should use as a subject of investigation in order to come to that. And we talked about astronomy, biology, chemistry, linguistics, because he does talk about the tool of language that is a gift from Hashem, that human beings are able to communicate and transmit complex ideas using sounds. That's pretty cool. That it's not only saying banana. How do you say lemon in South Africa for the non-English speakers?
Lemon.
Even in Afrikaans, they say lemon?
What's lemon in Afrikaans?
It's the same thing.
So if you know most of the world, don't tell me, well, the French, we don't use the word lemon, we say citron. Okay, whatever. Bunch of, I think we're going to be back on freedom fries in about a minute and a half in this year. No offense, but I'm not going to be singing Vive la France here. Lemon, most of the languages in the world, they call lemon. Very strange. There's another word that is across languages, sack. Sack in Hebrew, sack.
Also taxi. It is.
Jeremy, you want to do push-ups?
It is though.
I'm asking, do you want to do push-ups?
No.
Okay.
Not right now.
So all of the comments should be preceded by your hand up. Otherwise, it ruins the whole editing. So that wasn't mine.
That was mine. So.
Was yours? Saxton's telling me, come and get me. I fell. I can't get up. Tov. So once you do this work, Jeremy, once you get this information and you've got yourself into a level of more of an awareness of Hashem in this world and His wisdom, there could be, unfortunately, terrible events in your life that would cause you to forget all the hard work that you've done. And what could those be? So he says in the beginning of the chapter, I need to find it. No, that's Shar Yichud. We're not talking about Shar Yichud. It's here. One of the reasons that we will forget this, what we've discovered about the wisdom of Hashem, is that we are so busy with this world and that we worry about what we don't have, that it will distract us from our connection to Hashem. The pursuit of physicality, of money, David. The pursuit of a ball, running after a ball, when there's plenty of other balls that you can just go get. could distract you from your avodas Hashem, and hence you're late to class while drinking Coke. Hey, how are you? At least tell me you won.
Yeah.
You won today?
Yeah.
Finally.
Quite strongly, actually. Thank you for asking.
Quite strongly is 1-0. That's soccer. 1-0. You know?
We played against another yeshiva.
What?
We put,
Thank God you're done playing with the girls.
yeah.
My hava mean that you're playing with the other girls seminary, and they were beating you.
Right.
So, getting busy with school, with making money, with all the stuff that can get in the way, can cause us to disconnect from Hashem. And the disconnect begins when we stop being aware of how much of Hashem's wisdom operates in this world. So that was one reason. The second reason is that we come to this world as fools. We come to this world pretty ignorant. You ever had a conversation with a 4-year-old? They're not very smart, right? I told you my story that I convinced the kid that he has 6 toes and that he should go to his father and take him to the doctor because he's missing a toe. Because I told him he has to have 6 toes on every foot. So they're not very smart. We all started this way. Baruch Hashem, some of us graduated from this state of being an ignoramus, and we start becoming a little bit more sophisticated. Fortunately, not everybody merits that. Right, Avi?
Right.
Good. Good. See, he knows when to say yes. Dan, how much time do I have? I still have. That's what I want to hear. So we come into this world pretty ignorant. We're not aware of what's going on. And all we care about is our physical needs. Food, warmth, nice place to sleep, somebody to listen to us when we cry. You know, you remember being a kid. You get a steady supply of lollipops or candy and you're good. Right? You don't need much. And so there are people who are operating in that level. They're not thinking anything more sophisticated than that. They're thinking about meeting their needs, getting what it is, turning on the television, having a beer, and that's it. That's all they care about. And therefore, they're not going to seek the relationship with the Kadosh Baruch Hu. And the third one is people that will refuse to acknowledge how much good Hashem has done for them. They focus on what they don't have. They compare themselves to other people. Oh, I've been in yeshiva for 2 years, and you've been in yeshiva for 8 months. How come you can be so good? Hey, you have these tools, and he has those tools. Don't compare yourself to other people, Dan. You can't. That's right. You always look at where you were and where you are. It's not your fault that you're not as good looking as me. Ma asot. There's nothing you can do. So don't compare. We're not in competition. If I were, Avi, I'd clean the floor with you.
Come on, Rabbi. I don't even have a torch to...
Saxon thinks he can... he wants to compete. But he doesn't... I have secret weapons that he doesn't have.
I never did. You guys will destroy me if you did.
This is from AliExpress. You can buy one too. I don't know about Temu. Maybe Temu doesn't have that.
Can't find it in gray.
You what?
Can't find it in gray.
Don't worry. I can cause you enough worries. It'll turn gray.
You told him not to worry.
On that, I will cause it because he wants it. So anyway, those are the 3 reasons why people lose their connection to a Kadosh Baruch Hu. So let's say we're going to now dedicate some time that every day I'm going to think about how I can thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu. so that I don't forget. And secondly, I'm going to keep some time in the day that I do keep in mind of the greatness of wisdom of Hashem in this world. And thirdly, I am not going to be part of the rat race. I am not going to hand over my life to the God of money. I want to have a quality life where I don't have to work 80 hours a week. I don't have to have this big house in Toronto to invite, Yeshivat Ohr Somayach in my house. I can have a little small apartment in Israel, 2-bedroom. I can live with my wife and my 6 kids, and everybody's happy. Baruch Hashem. Says the Chovos Halevavos that one of the things that we need to know is that however you think you understand the wisdom of Hashem, you have to understand it's only a very small part that you figured out. That the Kadosh Baruch Hu's wisdom, His Chokhmah, and goodness is much greater than we can fathom. We're always blown away by the Google algorithm that could factor all sorts of in a millionth of a second and figure out all calculus. That's nothing. That's nothing compared to the Kadosh Baruch Hu. Whatever human system that we can create that runs ChatGPT and come up with lectures in a matter of 10 minutes. It's nothing. We cannot compare to the infinite wisdom that a Kadosh Baruch Hu has. And therefore, when we feel that we are weakening in our relationship with Hashem, he says, think about this, that whatever you understood is only a very small particle of His power and His wisdom. And the only thing that you know is what God allows you to figure out because you need it for your benefit. There are things that are much beyond our understanding, that we cannot understand, but yet from Hashem's, there's no question. We have a limited mind, Jeremy. Right? You're holding the Chinese chopsticks. Right? If you think about the Chinese, right, the entire day the farmers work with a pitchfork. Come home and they eat sticks. Why can't you just make a small pitchfork for your food? They never think, hey, this is actually a good idea. You're thinking it way too much.
You ever tried to eat sushi with a fork?
I always eat sushi with a fork. I don't eat it with sticks. What am I?
With a fork?
Yes.
I'd rather use it with my hands.
What?
I eat it with my hands, if anything.
You eat with your hands.
Either that or the chopsticks.
That's why you never get a second date. Don't worry, David. No more Azerbaijan jokes. I got a letter from somebody from Azerbaijan. No more jokes.
Did you really?
No, there's no way. Okay. And so he gives us a mashal. And the mashal, when I was going through this, I had a hard time seeing how to connect to the mashal. So maybe I'm going to share the mashal with you. Maybe you'll help me so I can get a better connection. Unless Avi wants to distract me with his penmanship over here. And the mashal says like this. Do you know the word mashal, Boris? Example or parable. In this case, it's more of a parable. L'chaim. So, he says, imagine yourself in this world, okay, like a newborn baby. that is born in a prison. Okay? Born in a prison. Just waiting to see your reaction. It's intent. That's right. That's why I couldn't understand what the big smile is about. I know. You didn't see it. It's the wrong trend. I know. People should be going that way, not coming from there over here. I get it. But sometimes we do something right over here. Anyway, this baby is born into a prison. And you're that baby. Shaya. Cute little baby. I'm sure you were cute when you were born. That's why your parents took care of you. Didn't leave you at some fire station. I don't know. You're laughing. I don't know. I said baby in a fire station. You started to laugh. Is there something you want to tell us, Dan? And the prison was the king's prison. And the king found interest in you as a baby and ordered the people who run the prison to provide everything that you need in the prison. And they took care of you as a baby, and you grew until you became an adult and you had a brain, but yet you did not know anything of this world except the prison and what's happening in the prison. That's the only thing you knew. It's very sad, right? That's why I think I didn't connect to it. Because I kept thinking, wow, that's... And also I was thinking of the allegory of the cave in the Plato's Republic. Some of us read more books than... Look, in order to have a PhD, you have to read a lot of books. So, sorry. And every time the messenger, the shaliach from the king would come to you, and he would ask, what do you need? Do you need a candle? Do you need clothes? Do you need food? Whatever it is, you need drink, that's what he would bring. Whatever you asked. And now you're living in prison. So you're not thinking of, can I get Chinese food? Right? You're not thinking, can I get some sushi? You only know candle, food, drink, which is water, and maybe a blanket. That's it. And then the messenger tells you that whatever he's bringing you really is the property of the king. It's the king. I'm just a messenger for the king. The food belongs to the king. The water, the drink belongs to the king. The blanket, the candle, everything that you're asking for, this room that you're in, this prison cell, everything is from the king. Okay? And so, the messenger says you should be grateful to the king. Because whatever you have is coming to you from the king. So far, everybody's with me? And so, and the messenger says, so then the prisoner says, you, as the prisoner says, praised the master of this prison that made me his prisoner and gave me all the things that I need and takes care of me in whatever my desires. So the shaliach, the messenger, says to him, no. The way that you praise them is really inappropriate. Why? Because it's not that he's the owner of the prison, and that's the only thing he owns. But there's an entire country that he's the king of. There are provinces and palaces and lakes and all sorts of things. And you're not the only prisoner of his. And you're not the only servant that he has. He has many servants. He has many people. And we can't even count how many citizens there are. And what you see is nothing compared to how good he is to his, not servants, or what do you call them? People who live in his kingdom.
Citizens.
Not really citizens. They have a different name. But it's okay, it'll come to me. I had a different name for it.
Peasants.
Great. Vassals, no. Vassals are only a nobility that have their own. So that's a vassal.
Is peasant so bad?
I'm sorry?
Why is peasant bad?
Peasants? Fine. Peasants. Peasants. It's always, my sense when you ever watch a movie where the peasants, it's always sort of degrading to be a peasant.
But
But we don't have, but that's not the point of the messenger. The messenger is trying to say that not only is he the master of the prison, the owner of the prison, he's a king. He's got a whole kingdom. And he's got lots of people living in his kingdom. That he takes care of them, that provides for them, and provides for their defense. And fulfills their needs, if they need roads, if they need whatever it is. And what he actually does to take care of your needs, of a candle and maybe a blanket, after a few months, and a bowl of soup and some bread, that's nothing for him. And so he says, look, I don't even know what you're talking about. I don't understand. I don't know what the word kingdom is. I don't know what you're describing, because all I know is this prison. And he says, you should say that praise is the king who has no end to his majesty and no end to his goodness and his mercy. And I am nothing compared to all his multitudes of servants and angels and so on and so forth. So we see from this that we are, in a sense, are in a prison. What's your prison? Don't tell me your room.
Whoa.
Your body. The neshama is in the body, and it's in a prison. And he fulfills all your needs. And therefore, we have a very limited understanding of how good Hashem is, how greatness are his chasadim, how powerful and wise, and all the other terms that we can describe the Kadosh Baruch Hu, that we really have no idea, except through our human experience, which is very, very limited. Just think of you standing on earth, on a piece of land, and then just pull the camera, right? Not zoom, go the other way. What do you call that?
Zoom out.
But there's got to be a word for that.
I think it's just zoom out.
Zoom out, that's it. There's no technical term. On zoom. Zoom away. So if you move towards the bird's eye view and you go higher and higher and just keep going up outside of the atmosphere into space, farther and farther and farther, just now think of how you are compared to just the vast empty space in our solar system, and then get out of the solar system to the Milky Way, and get out of that part, that galaxy. Just keep going and going. This is essentially what he's describing to us. We are thinking that this is reality. We're so engrossed, so involved in this prison experience. But he says, if you keep in mind this mashal, this parable that he gave us, and whenever you start to get busy with life, take yourself a little too seriously, as if somebody really, you matter in the entire universe. Because people who have anger issues, it means they're arrogance. They want their life to be exactly like they want. Because how dare they, the other people, not follow what I want? Whenever you take yourself a little too seriously, imagine that you're standing wherever you are and just take that camera that you think is looking at you and start pulling it. And you know, there are 8 billion other ants just like you. Right? And then beyond the 8 billion, there are trillions and trillions of beings on earth alone. And beyond that, and who knows what's happening on other dimensions of reality, which we know exist. And yet, the Kadosh Baruch Hu wants to have Davka relations with Saxton. He cares about Saxton. He wants him happy. He wants him clothed. Funny clothes, not funny clothes, whatever. At least everything is covered, Baruch Hashem. Did you at least score a goal?
I've dedicated it to the Rabbi.
I don't.
In my heart.
Girls' sports?
It's a great goal. Great goal.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Use your head or your foot?
Foot. A little bit of a turn. Finish.
Was there a goalie there?
Yeah. You can have gloves.
Awake?
You got gloves.
Wow. So anyway, this is something that I think is a very powerful tool for us to keep in mind the wisdom of Hashem and why we should work on our love of Hashem, fear of Hashem. And remember that our experience in this world is very, very limited. Very limited. And your life here on earth is short. You don't feel it now. But you get to a certain age and all of a sudden you realize, and then you see that we have to be very grateful for HaKadosh Baruch Hu, for everything that He does for us. Okay? Questions? Yes, sir.
Tiny bit of topic.
Tiny bit off topic.
Yeah. Can I ask it?
Makasha?
So, like, if the premise is that we're in this world to be connecting to Hashem and serving Him and learning Torah, and on the one side we know not to listen to our Yetzer Hara and to sin and take us away from Hashem, but on the other side that it's kind of, I don't know if it's a mitzvah or Hashem wants us to get involved in His world and enjoy like the nature and maybe socializing with good food.
Yes.
But in doing so, you distract yourself and you're not learning Torah. And like, where do we draw a line of this is bad, this is my Yetzer Hara, and this is what Hashem wants?
The Gaon of Vilna. Yes? What? You looked up like it's your grandpa. You know, like, so the Gaon of Vilna, in his Perush on Book of Ruth, says something even more thought-provoking. He says sometimes the Yetzer Hara motivates you to do a mitzvah. He does. That he tells you, you should really go to shul. And then you go. Or it tells you, go to class. And you come to class and you clown around. And he's like, got him. So he says, how do we know if our motivation comes from the Yetzer Hara or does it come from the Yetzer Tov? If your body is resisting what you want to do, then it's coming from Yetzer Tov. If your body doesn't want to get up, wants to just sit, wants to relax, wants to order a nice meal, that's, if the body is not going along with what you want, it's a sign that you're coming from the Yetzer Tov. If the Yetzer Hara is telling you, let's do this, and your body's like, yeah, right? You're laying in bed, you had shear, it's like 7:30, you had your schnitzel at 7:36, it's done, you're getting into bed, you pull out your phone, and then all of a sudden somebody bangs on your door, hey, we're going to Ben Yehuda, and all of a sudden, super strength, boom, you're ready to go. That's the Yetzer Hara. Yetzer Hara is ready to go. If it wasn't the Yetzer Hara, the Yetzer Hara was like, So, a person, according to the Mesilas Yesharim, which is a very, very amazing sefer. I learned it, Saxton taught me everything I know about it. The Mesilas Yesharim says that, the Ramchal, that you should, or you're allowed to take from this world, whatever you need in Gashmias for two things. Yeshivat Ohr and Nachat Ruach. Spoke about this a few weeks ago. Yeshivat Ohr is when you have in your mind sort of tranquility, and Nachat Ruach, that you are no stress. Okay? So for example, if I take Saxton, who, and we all know he has probably one of the greatest neshamas that we have right now in this yeshiva. And if I duct tape him to the seat and pour concrete to the seat legs, and I say, okay, you're going to sit here and not move, here's a Gemara, right? It's not going to work. Because he has, from his neshama, certain level of Yeshivat Ohr and Nachat Ruach that he needs. In order to sit and learn, he needs to take from the physical world. So he needs to exercise. He needs to run after a ball. Right? With a bunch of other people. He needs that. It's a girl sport, yeah, but malasot. It's from South Africa, and malasot. You don't hear him playing rugby. Right? They want... Right? Because they say, we're South African, we play soccer. No, you should play rugby, But lo mishaneh. But he needs that. Sometimes a person needs to go out, have a burger in town. Just so that, So you need to know how much of physical world you need to have Yeshivat Ohr and Nachat Ruach. Right? A person needs to have some level of money coming in or reserves so that he feels that he can take care of what he needs. If he doesn't, it causes him stress, he can't concentrate, causes him issues. So the Ramchal says, you have to know what is your Yeshivat Ohr and Nachat Ruach point. Don't make it as, you could always raise it to say that I need it, a burger now, not just once a week. I need it every day. That, I think everybody would go, you just went a little too far there with the Yetzer Hara. So you have to pay attention to that. And you have to be very honest with yourself. And sometimes you can't see what you're doing to yourself. And that's why we always recommend having a Rabbi that knows you, that you could go and run it by him to say, look, I feel like, I've been in yeshiva for X amount. I need to go home for a month. So then you go through the sugya. Does he really need to go? Is it going to be good to him? What is the, see, is there within the Yeshivat Das and Nachat Ruach of this person, that is what is needed and under the right circumstances is probably recommended. All of that is some things that you have to go through. Think about it. So there could be a situation where you become sort of addicted to physicality. And then your Nachat Ruach and Yeshivat Ohr keeps moving, so that as your standard of what you need. But when you come to yeshiva, everybody has a difficult time. Why? Well, bed is not your bed at home. Your meals are not the same. and you don't have the privacy that you had at home, because usually most people have their own room, okay? Well, for the most part. It's not like you get to do whatever you want. There are rabbis who tell you need to be in class, you need to be this, you need to do that. And there seems to be a little bit of peer pressure of growing and pushing and, pushing each other. So in the beginning, it's hard. That's not what you're used to, because your Yeshuvat Nachat was somewhere else. As you're mizchazik and you're developing your neshama, then all of a sudden the amount of gashmis that you need is actually decreasing. And you're perfectly fine staying in yeshiva for the entire week. And you don't want to go to somebody's house sleeping on the floor on this thin mattress for a Shabbos. You'd rather just stay in, because you could learn. Or you say, no, I'll spend the 6 days, the 5.5 days in yeshiva, but Shabbos I gotta go. I gotta be in around a nice table with, a few lechaims, a nice whiskey. That's what I need for my yishuv das. Is the person kidding himself? That's it's not so easy to say yes. Not so easy to say yes.
Yeah, but this place where you're pulling from to get like tranquility so you can learn, like you can't always just have a rabbi around. So like, when do you know if
You
you're
don't?
from a bad place?
What does it mean you don't have a rabbi around? You're at Ohr Somayach. Even when you leave, hopefully you'll have a relationship with your Rabbi here. And so you could always ask.
Yeah, but you make decisions without calling him every time you want to do anything.
Yes, but you have the more you know yourself and the more experience you have with those challenges, you'll be able to make better decisions.
My question is more, who's to say?
No, so you don't like my answer. No.
No, I'm like,
How much time do I have, Dan?
5 minutes.
He has enough. He's done. He's like 5 minutes. I'm telling you, if there was a eject button, he'd be like, Rabbi, 1, 2. Yes.
who's to say that place you're pulling from to help you learn is good or bad? Like you have to know yourself as well.
Of course, I said that as a given.
Yeah, but how do you know if you're not consulting a rabbi for every decision you make?
I think that you have to take it step by step. There isn't one standard, one formula that you plug it in, and then that sort of, you hit enter, and it runs the numbers for you. And all you have to do is check my number. I take, blood, check my blood pressure. Oh, I need more Yeshuv Das. Okay, so I'll go. No, it's going to be trial and error. If you feel that your body is going against what, let's go out, then it's coming from the Yetzer Hara. And the question is, how to resist it, how much energy is it going to take from you? Sometimes when the Yetzer Hara says, hey, let's go eat. Okay, so you go eat. But you don't have to now go to the 7 bars, in Machne Yehuda. You can just go eat, get back on the train, and come back. So, when it's sort of, you have to pay attention that it's the Yetzer HaTov and Yetzer Hara work, usually they work incrementally. In increments. You go from here to here, right? Nobody goes from Yeshiva Bacher to, the lowest place in society with one decision. It's one decision that he made wrong and goes like this, and then another decision, another. And none of us made a decision to become where we are today with one decision. It was, okay, I'm going to try yeshiva. You get here, and then like, I don't know. Saxon's driving me nuts. And then you're like, well, maybe he's got something here. So you make another decision. And so your decisions keep moving you closer and closer to where you are today. That's the same thing so sometimes you can say to the Yetzer Hara, okay, I'm going to do this, but that's it. So that when now he says, oh, now you're out. So let's go. Why don't you walk over and introduce yourself to her? Right? And that's what you say, Adkan. Or you say, I am going to introduce myself. You walk over, hello, my name is Yuda Kev and I'm an Ohr Somayach student. Can I have your number? It's like, good, I'm calling the cops, get away from me. So, any other questions? Yes, sir. First day, and he's asking questions. Boris, you're next. Yes.
Question is
Just translate for me what he says. Yes.
how do we comprehend Hashem's greatness from such a limited perspective?
Take from what you know. And this is that's his whole point. Understand that it's very limited. But if it's this limited and this is how it works, and my limited capacity, I can imagine exponentially how great it must be, even though I can't fathom it. Now, I'm sure you've learned all of the Zohar several times, plus Kitvei Ari, right? You're all, this is on top of fingertips. So the Ari in Etz HaChaim describes the process of the emanation of the supernal realms, of the spiritual world. And when it's described not by 10 or 100, but millions and millions of worlds that are out there, spiritual realms. So Saxton and I, he decided that he wanted to teach me Nefesh HaChaim, so we had a little bit of a Nefesh HaChaim where he describes this in detail, that every body part that we have, imagine that it runs to a spiritual realm that you control with that body part. If you do good, it increases, it creates more. If you sin, you destroy those worlds. And so from a Kabbalistic perspective, it makes it more comprehensible to some degree that there are millions and millions of spiritual realms that are there, that we have no cognizance of. And yet Hashem emanates them and takes care of them. And it's through those worlds that there's emanation all the way to us. So I think that's what, I'm going over. Dan is going to be very mad at me, but I'm going to keep going. Did you want to say something? You don't want to defend yourself? Did I explain correctly the Nefesh HaChaim? No, I did not. Where was I wrong? What? I didn't teach you. I was there for you, man. I was learning from you. So, and he says, once you can grasp some level of the wisdom of Hashem and all the goodness that Hashem has done for you by having hashgacha on you, that He cares about you, that He watches over you. Of all the 8 billion people, He's not ignoring you, Saxton, and not you either, Shaya. He's watching you, Yitzchak. Of course He's here. What are you talking about?
No,
It's Yitzchak.
I didn't know you were calling Yitzchak.
That's his name.
Isaac.
Wait, you prefer Isaac or Yitzchak?
I don't care.
You don't care.
What's the problem with being bi?
See, well, I'd like to meet with you in my office after class. I always wondered if that's ever going to happen to me, that I'm going to have to deal with. Now, apparently, that day has come.
Did you put the cameras up yet?
What?
Did you put the cameras up? No.
In my office? Listen. It would be... this safe space. So people need a safe space to come and share. I think that one of the things this place is so amazing is that the rabbis who are here, all of them, really care about the students. And the rabbis want each and every one of you to be the best that you can be. Nobody here, I don't want you to become like me, Rabbi Luba doesn't want you to become like him. Rabbi Schiller doesn't want you to become like him. We want you to become like who you are supposed to be. And for that, you need safe space to come and talk and share and cry and laugh. So I don't think we're going to put cameras in my office. Is that it? The pay-per-view is going to have to remain in your rooms. Right, David? So he says, once you understand this, study his book. What's his book? The Torah. Thank you, Jeremy. Kol hakavod. That's the home run. Kol hakavod. Study the Torah. Learn his commandments. And there you have to work on strengthening your respect and appreciation of what God is giving you. I'm telling you, there are many times that the feeling of gratitude and appreciation to Hashem that gave me the opportunity to learn Torah, and not only that, gave me an opportunity to teach Torah. That sometimes it's beyond the level of emotions. I don't have words to express my gratitude and appreciation to HaKadosh Baruch. And then it's hard for me to understand how people can live without this. And I always say, if they only knew, if they only experienced, if they only just read 2 lines, a shtickle of Gemara, a little bit of Rashi, a Rambam on this Gemara. Zeu, Gemara. So we have to say, Ashreinu matov chelkeinu, that the Kadosh Baruch Hu blessed us and gave us the ability to be of Yoshvei Bet Midrash and not Yoshvei Kranot. People hang out in the street corners going, hey, want to buy a watch? Kadosh Baruch Hu gave us a tremendous, tremendous bracha. And with that, I want to wish everybody good Shabbos and see you on Sunday.